In the world of air travel, it's a commonly held belief that private jets skip the line due to their deep pockets. But does money really speak louder than in-flight announcements? At JFK and Heathrow, where commercial flights queue up for takeoff, private jets find an unlikely advantage not from paying for priority, but from a legal loophole hidden in the air traffic control playbook. Today, we unravel the perplexing truth behind this phenomenon and how it affects the airlines we depend on. Imagine this. You're waiting to board your flight after a long day of travel. The big jets loom before you, backs turned, engines roaring while the suited-up passengers in their sleek private jets swoosh past you like they're in a separate universe. Everyone thinks it's about money. After all, why wouldn't they? But as we dive deeper, the truth reveals itself to be more complex and perhaps a bit more nefarious. The reality is that private jets exploit regulations in a way that creates frustration and chaos for commercial airlines. It all revolves around slot allocations and the nuances of the air traffic control system. As we dissect the layers of this system, we'll learn not only why this loophole exists, but how it fiercely impacts both private and commercial air travel. To fully appreciate this modern dilemma in air travel, let's rewind to the mid-20th century. Flying was a luxury experience back in the golden age of aviation. Passengers were adorned in their finest clothes, sipping champagne at cruising altitude and indulging in meals orchestrated by skilled chefs. Among the emblems of that era was the Concorde, a marvel of engineering allowing transatlantic flights in a mere few hours, the fastest passenger jet ever. But fast forward to today, and you might think we live in an age of unparalleled speed and convenience. Actually, it's quite the paradox. Although we have faster jets, the experience is entangled in delays, missed connections, and overburdened airports. So how did we go from the remarkable speed of the Concorde to waiting in endless queues for our flights? The answer lies in the evolution, and sometimes degradation, of how air travel has been adapted to manage increasing demand. With the rise of commercial airlines came an increase in regulations and tightening of the air traffic control systems. As more people flocked to the skies, an exciting prospect for travelers, the careful choreography of flight slots became more intricate than ever. Yet among this complexity, certain players on the field found ways to navigate around the rules, and that's where private jets come into the story. Let's talk about private jets. The allure of flying private has exploded in the modern era, with more travelers opting for this upscale lifestyle. After all, can you blame them? No security lines, no cramped cabins, just the luxury of arriving and departing at their leisure. For many, it seems like the ultimate dream. An escape from the chaos that commercial travel has become. In conversations about private jets, the notion that they skip lengthy security checks and boarding processes is frequently thrown around. However, what lies beneath this facade is far less glamorous than mere access to resources. It is a combination of legal maneuvering that provides these jets with something of a competitive edge, and a major headache for commercial airlines. Private jets, thanks to their exclusivity, operate under different regulations than commercial flights, subverting what we commonly perceive as the benefits of wealth. Their ability to capitalize on a legal loophole within the air traffic control system allows them to sidestep the rigid rules imposed on commercial flights. This dynamic creates a frustrating imbalance that makes the flying experience far less enjoyable for the average traveler, stuck behind jets that flit away at their own pace. So what exactly is this legal loophole that private jets exploit? The answer lies in how air traffic control slots are allocated and managed. In simple terms, each flight is scheduled into the air traffic control system, which dictates takeoff and landing schedules for all aircraft.
Delta 393 Atlanta ground runway 27 right, taxi via Lima, hold short of taxiway Dixie.
However, the regulations around these slots can be manipulated by private jets, allowing them to gain an unfair advantage. In many cases, these jets are categorized under general aviation, which includes all flights other than commercial airlines. This distinction is crucial. Private jets are permitted to maneuver around the system in ways that commercial airlines cannot. For instance, while commercial airlines must adhere to specific rules regarding their flight slots, even to the point of having their schedules published for public scrutiny, private jets often find loopholes not just in regulations, but in how these slots are monitored. An example of this is when private jets capitalize on what are known as slot swaps, where they might swap their originally scheduled time with another jet without notifying the broader system of their reallocation. This can lead to situations where a private jet essentially glides smoothly into a prime takeoff or landing slot, catching commercial flights in inconvenient delays.
Attention American Eagle flyers, Flight 3075 with service to Miami has been delayed. It looks like it will be arriving at around 7:30.
Moreover, since the number of slots allocated for general aviation is limited, the fine print often becomes pivotal. Private jets can navigate around existing regulations, sometimes utilizing loopholes in specific airports' policies to further assert their dominance over available space. Now consider the ramifications for commercial airlines. Amid already tight schedules, the ability of private jets to maneuver through these loopholes translates into real-world consequences for commercial carriers and their passengers. As private jets cut through the air traffic system unimpeded, commercial airlines often find themselves left in the dust, struggling with ramifications they can barely control. Flight delays have become commonplace in this landscape, with numerous reports highlighting how private jets exacerbate operational challenges within major airports. An investigation at JFK revealed that up to 35% of delayed flights on busy days were attributed to the influx of unscheduled private jets. Imagine the frustration. While commercial passengers wait in crowded terminals, the private jet clientele enjoys cocktails in the comfort of a private lounge. Commercial airlines need to adapt, shifting focus to overbooked flights, compensation for delinquents, and often unsatisfactory solutions. Those scheduled to fly commercially can find themselves unceremoniously stranded, uninformed about why they're being held captive in an airport purgatory. Passengers are left feeling frustrated and angry. Meanwhile, erroneous slot allocations can lead to cascading delays that affect not just the immediate flight, but multiple others. This is a ripple effect that the industry struggles to contain. Yet private jets seem unaffected, continuing on their path without accountability for their impact on commercial operations. As we delve deeper into this debate, it's essential to hear insights from industry experts. Many voice concerns about the inequity that this legal loophole fosters. A former commercial airline executive shares, "It's a delicate balance that we have to manage as airlines. The continued exemption of private jets creates added layers of challenges for everyone involved." Meanwhile, a representative from a private jet company counters, suggesting that common perceptions are misguided. They argue that private jets aren't necessarily cutting the line. Rather, they exploit the rules crafted for them. It's a matter of using the system available, and they assert, although critics might view this as little more than thinly veiled privilege. In discussions among industry regulators, the subject of the legal loophole frequently resurfaces, yet limited actions are taken to address the issue. Some policymakers propose stricter oversight to ensure fair operations within the air traffic control system. There's anxiety among commercial airlines that these reforms may not adequately address the reality on the runway, prompting many to question whether meaningful change will ever truly occur. A consensus appears elusive, highlighting the challenges airlines face, how to amend a system that seems rigged against the very backbone of air travel. As the numbers get crunched, it becomes evident that this discussion is much more than policy. It's about redefining fairness in the skies. It's not just theory. Real-world incidents illustrate the chaos emanating from these discrepancies between private jets and commercial airlines. Just last month at Heathrow, a commercial flight scheduled to take off faced a 1-hour delay due to a private jet that was granted priority clearance after a last-minute slot swap. As passengers sat fuming in their seats, the video cameras lingered on the private jet, a sleek, glassy exterior juxtaposed against the aged, weary aircraft of the commercial airlines. The ripple effect was immediate. A flight to Milan missed its connection because another jet had taken precedence, stranding passengers across multiple gates. And this instance isn't an anomaly. Similar events have become all too common, prompting outrage among eager flyers who often wonder, why is this happening? Why do expectations for timely travel seemingly vanish when private jets enter the equation? The answers are frustratingly clear, yet uttered only in hushed conversations among critical industry watchers. Such incidents highlight the imbalance in the system, the disparity that continues to affect hundreds of commercial passengers while private jet travelers glide past, smugly ensconced in cushy luxury. So, what's next? As the industry grapples with this legal anomaly, signs of reform are emerging on the horizon. Increasingly, lawmakers are taking steps to address the privilege given to private jets within the air traffic control system. Proposals for policy amendments have been introduced, aiming to level the playing field and enhance operational transparency. However, many experts argue that any reform must reckon with the complexities that come with differing priorities and regulations between private and commercial flights. Calls for stricter regulations propose making general aviation subject to the same scrutiny and accountability faced by commercial airlines. While some skeptics question whether these reforms will ever truly hold water, there's hope within the system that regulators may finally begin to appreciate how slanted the rules have become. More conversations around prioritized equity within airspace could reshape how we think about air travel, heralding a future where fairness isn't just an afterthought. Starting conversations about policy within this context could indeed create momentum for change. But until those dialogues lead to actionable outcomes, the struggle continues, stirring discontent wherever commercial travelers attempt to navigate through their own delayed journeys. As we've unpacked today, flying private isn't just about luxury, it's a complex game of regulation and competition. Through the eyes of commercial travelers, the spinning wheels of air traffic control represent both the incredible potential of modern flight and the glaring inequities that underlie the aviation system. Will these emergent reforms lead to a level playing field? Perhaps, but until significant changes take place, we, the everyday flyers, continue to face the consequences of this airborne economy's quirks. The journey continues to evolve, revealing lessons of privilege, economy, and the reality of power dynamics in the aviation industry. The opportunity to reshape the way we perceive air travel, balancing exclusivity with accessibility, sits within our grasp. However, it requires concerted efforts from industry leaders and policymakers alike. Until then, we remain left in a system fraught with privilege while waiting for the next flight, poker-faced in a bustling terminal, hoping for a day when every traveler can take off without delay.